watch us live right now on the Facebook page, listen on the PWR app, on your smart speakers, and on DAB digital radio across the county. And really good to be with you tonight as well. Coming up in a few moments, we'll be joined by Haverfordwest County Director Ryan Evans, making a welcome return to the show. He'll be telling us about the latest episodes of the club's documentary, You Can Have It All, plus what's been going on behind the scenes at the Oggy Bridge Meadow after some interesting and exciting announcements this weekend. Elsewhere, we will reflect on a busy weekend of sport across the county in both football and rugby. We'll also talk darts a bit later and find out why Luke Littler's success may actually boost the game here in the county. So let's get going. And dotted around Pembrokeshire this evening, Fraser, Gordon and Tom. Fraser, I think you were quite right not to venture too far from St David's this evening.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we see the downpours and the rain relent over the festive period, don't we? We see a bit of sunshine, think the better weather is coming, and we're hit by this nonsense. It's never ending, is it? It's never ending. But I have managed to get to the local restaurant tonight, Ben, which is doing 50% off for January. Luckily, that's within walking distance. So every cloud, silver lining.
Yeah, there was everyone worried about you, Fraser. I'm glad you've had a good dinner. Excellent. Gordon, how are you? Keeping warm in Haverfordwest this evening?
Yeah, very good. It is a cold one, Ben, but we managed to get back to it at the weekend. Mr. Watson was out and about, and myself for Pembrokeshire Sport. So we'll talk a little bit about that a bit later.
Yeah, we will in part two. And actually, Fraser, just before we speak to Ryan, incredible. There wasn't one football match called off over the weekend, was there? They all went ahead.
The only one in Pembrokeshire was Division 4, which saw the seconds and able to raise a side to go to Milford seconds. And, there might be someone in the show not out here, Dan Metcalf, who may have wished he couldn't raise his side, but maybe we'll talk more about that later in the show. I know Dan's watching, and we don't want to dwell on it too much. But
we weren't supposed to talk about that, Watson.
No.
Incredible, and yet in rugby, severe disruption because of obviously a lot of teams going further across Wales where there was more snow and ice. So for once, the Pembrokeshire weather was a blessing.
No, poor Dan. We will talk about that in part two. But when I saw that 25-0 score, I thought it was the rugby score, to be honest. But we will talk about all the football in the second part. Tom, evening to you. Busy start to the new year, no doubt. Lots going on across the county.
Lots going on. Started off with a few little weather warnings and keeping people safe on the roads, and an ambition to get back to sport this year. But we'll see how that pans out with a new addition to the family.
Oh, and congratulations, Tom, as well. Absolutely brilliant.
Good luck
news.
with that, Thomas.
Yeah, you're going to have so much time on your hands, Tom. Yeah. Right, let's go to our guest, shall we? And if you're watching on social media, you will see Director at Haverfordwest County, Ryan Evans, hopefully appear on the screen as if by magic. Yeah, here he comes. Ryan, evening to you and Happy New Year. How are you?
Very good. Thanks. Likewise to you all as well.
Listen, really good to have you back on the show. And the reason we're going to talk to you first up is all about the documentary, which, of course, you pioneered. You launched it, 3 years ago now, the first episodes?
Started filming back in 2021. Wow. And yeah, this is the fourth series of literally behind the scenes. You Can Have It All. It's an insight into life at the club, on and off the field.
And we'll come to the new episodes in just a sec, but I just wanted to go back to those first few episodes because they were the ones, of course, that featured Nicky Hayen. And at that point, you couldn't have imagined kind of what was going to happen to his career. And I know he's not working at the moment, is he? But he's managed in the Champions League, the Europa League. It's been a phenomenal story, that.
Yeah, I think he's ended up at Genk in the last few days, actually.
Okay.
But, yeah, when you go back, when Rob and I had the chat back then, it was, let's just come in and see what happens. Netflix and Amazon were putting out their own versions and things, and that's where we sort of got our inspiration from. But we've been able to literally make it our own sort of Roy of the Rovers almost adventure. The first series looked at a relegation battle. We were 5 points adrift in January, and obviously Nicky came in. So that was series 1. Series 2 kicked off with Tony's arrival. Went through a great season there, got into the playoffs, and obviously won that playoff final after going through 2 penalty shootouts in the semi and the final. Then the third series was the first European adventure in 20 years, which, was a real pinch me moment for myself, for the club, for everybody involved. So this series now, to be able to do Europe again inside of 3 years, of such great recognition of the record-breaking season we had last year. It was just too good to be true almost. And yeah, drama to the very last minute of this series yet again.
Absolutely. Go on, before Fraser, Gordon and Tom come in, set the scene for what we can expect for these new episodes, Ryan.
Well, you guys feature quite heavily, actually, at the very start. It obviously flashes back to the playoff final victory against Carnarvon back in May. That's a bit of a recap to begin episode 1. Then it's coverage right across Europe. We went to Geneva for the draw again, and obviously Rob was interviewed in front of the fountain there in Geneva, Lakeside. Then we went over to Belfast. We played a couple of friendlies and ended up playing Linfield, who were the Northern Ireland Premier League champions over there. Right. And then episode 2 and 3 just completely focused on our trip to Malta and our encounter with Floriana at Parc y Scala at St. Llanelli. So yeah, it's a roller coaster of emotions. There's humor in there. There's a little bit more. We tried to mix it up a bit. I didn't want to just regurgitate what season 3 was all around. You know, it was the same template. We wanted to tweak it a bit, and I think we've managed to do that. There's some real good insight. Player cam in particular, Alaric, our club partnership officer. I sort of nudged him and said, any chance you could take the camera for a spell, and Yori does a bit, and Ben Fawcett, who brings back his spell in B and whatnot. So yeah, I'd like to think that people will enjoy watching it as well.
Go on, Fraser.
Hi, Ryan. Welcome to the show. Happy New Year. Interesting you say that, what you just said there about the player cam. That was going to be my question, actually. Obviously, you've done, I think, did you say the 4th series of this now? Some players don't like intrusion, do they? Can be quite private. Do you find now that the players, certainly the ones who've been there since 2021 or since at least the 2nd series, are just used to it now and totally comfortable to being filmed and you being around?
Yeah, used to it, I'd say. A part of them, I think they all love it, really.
Of course they do.
I remember the first time, and Wolvesy was in charge back then. I remember coming to the first training session. I'd left the club for about 12, 18 months maybe, and came to a training session and said, look, I just want to put a bit of context around the latest press release about this documentary, reassured them that I wasn't there to tuck them up, I suppose, to make them the villains or to advocate them in the wrong way. But I had to be open and honest, and showcase things. And I know, I pick when to bring the camera out, but luckily enough, when it is out, I've captured some really good stuff, I think. But no, they're pretty comfortable, I think. There's times where I know I need to disappear and not be there, and let things play out. But most of the time, I just try and camouflage myself into the background, really, and capture all those great points.
It's important, isn't it? And don't get me wrong, I know exactly what you mean. That there are times when you maybe don't want to be in a dressing room, but it is surely important that there are times when you capture not just people messing around and having fun and what have you, but the real life emotion, whether it be the highs or the lows that goes into the football club, or any club that's obviously in the Welsh Premier and competing in Europe, because highs and lows do come with that.
Yeah, totally. And I mean, I'm not sort of giving any spoilers away. There are moments in the documentary that show obviously the halftime moments, the post-match debrief in the dressing room, and Tony's been excellent, as have all the staff. They understand how I'm doing it and the perspective I'm trying to portray of the club. But it's honest and raw as well. I think that's been really key to it. I remember, Fraser, you mentioned like the Spurs one and others. They're almost quite scripted a little bit almost, and like the camera's been put there on purpose to capture a conversation and people know what's coming.
Stage nonsense, I think it calls.
Yeah. It's always been the vision of the whole idea to capture the raw and honest about it. And yeah, again, I really do think we've kept to that value across all 4 of the series.
Gordon.
Yeah, Brian, New Year. Happy New Year to you. Obviously doing this for 4 years now, you must have some excellent footage that nobody should see. So I'm wondering whether you're going to bring out the next series of the bloopers that people couldn't see. No, I think that would be a real hit. What do you think?
I'd have to ask certain individuals. I've got, I think, there's quite a few, I won't mention individuals, but quite a few. Don't bring that to the public eye. No, I'm joking. to be honest, all the best clips I've tried to include. You know, it is aimed at a PG audience if we can. There are a few bleeps because there are moments from multiple individuals, you know, and the camera picks up audio from the pitch and things like that. Yeah. But we've maintained that PG sort of audience because I really wanted to inspire the academy players and players in Pembrokeshire, excuse me, to be able to watch this and say, do you know what? I really want to strive to become a Haverfordwest County first team player. And it sounds crazy, but at the end of the day, we're playing in the top division in the country. Yeah. You know, it's a really good, you know, they could potentially make a living out of playing football.
Yeah, absolutely right.
Let's be honest, Ryan, it's probably been the best period in Haverfordwest County's history, the success and everything else that's gone with it. So to have done this now over the last 4 years was probably the best time to have done it. Do you agree with that?
100%. And it's almost fallen in my lap, all these adventures. And I joke with Tony, but, you know, he has led the club to the most successful period of time, as I've, you know, it's a team effort. It's very much the value across the club is team. You know, together, everyone achieves more, that sort of mentality. It has been, I've been lucky, I always say it, that everything's just happened in front. Like I said, from relegation, obviously the promotion came first by default almost with the points per game in COVID. And then it sort of just snowballed to now. You know, I'm looking back, I've got a European Haverfordwest shirt on the wall behind me to my left. It really is pinch me moments. And yeah, we're lucky that, and a lot of the players say this, we'll be able to watch this back in 20 years with children, or for some, perhaps grandchildren by then, you know, and reminisce.
So you can watch the latest series now, Ryan, but moving forward, are you still going to proceed with clippings next season?
Yeah, well, never say never, I think, with the You Can Have It All. It's back on the shelf for the short-term future, but who knows? Hopefully in the not too distant future that we can get back into Europe and we can bring it back again, maybe.
Tom?
I was just wondering, you mentioned there about the snippets that you've captured. What's been the favourite thing from this series that you captured? But also, what's the thing that you're like, I wish I got the camera out for that? Two-parted for you.
Oh, that's a great question. Favourite bits? There's too many to pick. I mean, the goals at Llanelli and Parker Scarlets, obviously Greg, local boy, done good for the county. It was a tremendous feeling. And then that was topped probably. And when Ben Arman put it in the far corner in front of the stand, you'll see in the footage, I was front and centre, I was right behind him. I was probably one of the closest to him. I mean, it was like, oh my God, we're actually going to do this after 20 minutes of the game. And again, you know, people will see what goes on to happen in the rest of the game. So that is right up there. Being able to have the noise of 2,000 people behind me and turning around and seeing the elation in people's faces, that is right up there with best ever sporting memories. There's some nice little clips from a social perspective over in Malta. The night out in Belfast was really good. With initiations. The night out was good. The singing initiations perhaps not so good from some. But tremendous memories that, you know, will be with us. Everybody was a part of it. He'll be with us for a long, long time.
So where can people watch the new episodes, Ryan?
It's all freely available on our YouTube channel, the club YouTube channel, or if you visit the bit.ly link, so there you are, great, Tom's put it on screen for us, bit.ly/HCHIA, You Can Have It All, 2025, and all 3 of the newest episodes are up there. And if anyone wants to go back to the very beginning, they're all on the club YouTube channel.
Excellent stuff. Well, we would recommend people watch that. I'll be doing that over the next few days, definitely. And Ryan, whilst we've got you on, another development in the Haverfordwest County story over the weekend, quite timely, in fact, was the news. And people might say, well, why is this relevant? That the Morley Sports Management Group have taken over Hamilton Academicals FC in Scotland. And the reason this is relevant is because that is the group that operates the Bluebirds, Haverfordwest County. Haverfordwest chairman Rob Edwards is going to take a seat on the board at Hamilton. And of course, this opens up all sorts of questions about what the future might look like for the two clubs. You have an involvement as well, don't you, with Morley Sports Management? So from your perspective, how should Haverfordwest fans view this announcement?
Well, yeah, a very small involvement. I have a very small shareholding. Rob is front and center of it. Rob is the excuse me, the visionary, if you like, with this. And it's, for me anyway, being heavily involved in the last few days, if not weeks, to see this opportunity come up can only be seen from a Haverfordwest County perspective as something really exciting. I'm a Man City fan as well, so I know heavily what the City football group has done across the world in the last few years, or the last decade or so. And it's a similar sort of thing where MSM they've never hidden the fact they're looking to get a multi-sport, multi-club sort of operation ongoing. And obviously news about OVW, the wrestling organization, came over within the last 12 months or so. So it's always been what next. Rob's never hidden the fact that he's looking for new opportunities. And the Ackies, I'm beginning to get to know them now over the last few weeks. They've been through a turbulent recent history, should we say. A couple of years ago, they were in the Scottish Premiership. For Haverfordwest County to be even associated a club of that size is fantastic. And you think back, God, particularly, the years of the decades with the Bluebirds, the roller coaster that's been. Now to be in a position where we're affiliated, I'd probably say, within the group, there's a relationship to be had there. What it looks like in the short, medium, and long term, who knows? It's a bit of a blank canvas at the minute, but like you said, Rob's gone in with a seat on the board alongside some really experienced and in sporting backgrounds personnel. Alongside myself within the group, there's a number of people with real good pedigrees, CVs. So there's a lot of good people looking to do something really positive with the Ackies, and I'm really excited about it from a Haverfordwest perspective and obviously from a Morley Sports Management perspective as well.
Ryan, well, it's early days to see how this partnership develops. So you mentioned the City model there. Could then potentially you foresee a situation where, obviously, like you said, Hamilton and Ackie is a huge club, hit hard times. But only a couple of years ago, we were talking about them in the Scottish Premiership and the same echelon as the likes of Rangers and Celtic. Approaches whereby maybe players alone between clubs that could benefit Haverfordwest County, and also maybe allay fears for maybe the more cynical Haverfordwest fans. The immediate assumption might be that, hang on, if MSM are involved there, will them and Rob Edwards be able to give as much time and investment to us, for example? Will our best players or even managers be picked off by them as well? It's only natural, I guess, to have those fears and at the same time those hopes as well.
Rob's never hidden the fact, like I said, that he wanted that multi-club model. Rob has assured, as the statement went out yesterday, quite clearly, it's business as usual for Haverfordwest County. Nothing changes with us here in Pembrokeshire. We're still running, exactly as we are, striving to be the best possible club we can be in the Welsh setup in the Cymru leagues. I see only positives with this, like I said, affiliation with Hamilton Academical. Who knows? Genuinely, it could be a case of us loaning players. Who knows? There might be an opportunity for one of our high achievers to go to have an experience up in Scotland. What it looks like, it's too early to tell. And that's not me sort of saying no comment. That is literally, it's too early to tell. Even in this January window, who knows? Something could happen. It quite possibly couldn't. There's so much, we're talking hours since the acquisition became formal. It's really early days. And like I said, I'm really excited about how it could look in the future. And I don't really see any other Welsh clubs in particular with that opportunity, to have that direct link to a club of that size.
Well, I'll let the others come in now, but I'll talk to you off air. If my little boy's a big wrestling fan, so you can bring an OVW show to the meadow. There's your challenge. But
I've got two young boys who are beginning to get into wrestling. Harry and Jack are they're big Bluebirds fans. They were down at the meadow in the most recent fixtures. They've had their scarves and whatnot, and no doubt we'll be going, Dad, can we go to OVW one day?
Have a way.
Yeah, it's a good journey actually. I was just doing a route finder whilst you were talking. That's about 7 hours 40. I think it'll take you, Ryan, to get up to Hamilton. Are you planning to watch a game soon?
100%, yeah. That's not far off the travel we've got to make with the Cymru Premier, to be honest.
I'm sure you can use Lillibus Airport to get up there, Ryan.
I have had a sneaky look at Bristol to Glasgow. It's not too far, not time-wise or cost-wise, to be honest. But yeah, there's a lot of dust to settle. But I'm certainly really keen to go up there alongside all the other members of the group, I'm sure. And I've seen a couple of Haverfordwest supporters, loyal supporters who travel the country with us. They're also looking to head up north.
Yeah, excellent stuff. Well, listen, we've always said that the Bluebirds have become a real outside the box thinking club, and this is another example of that. So we will follow it with interest, and we'll look to see how it develops, Ryan. So thank you for coming on. I know it's new news, so talking about it so openly, we appreciate that. Tom, were you just going to come in?
I was going to come in very quickly because, of course, phase 1 comes to an end this Friday. For the Bluebirds as well. What's the atmosphere like in the squad ahead of the split, Ryan?
Yeah,
we're going to be there as well for that match on Friday.
Yeah, looking forward to that. Britain Ferry are in and around us in the league table, so it's a nice way to finish off. It'll be a tough game. Alaric actually scored a winning goal in the 92nd, 93rd minute back at the end of August, I think it was, away up in Britain Ferry. But yeah, we welcome them down to us, hoping for a big crowd to get behind the boys, because it genuinely makes a difference when there's that atmosphere alongside you guys with the speakers, etc. You know, the match day experience is so much better with a good crowd. And I think Friday night football at the Meadow has always been a popular thing. You know, our average attendances are way up again this year. That keeps increasing year on year. We had a tough spell back in the autumn. We had a tough run of fixtures, and we played a lot of the top teams, it seems, in a run of games. But we've certainly turned a corner. Other than one loss away to Barry, I think we're undefeated in several games now, and things have really starting to shape up. And full belief in the boys going into the phase 2 now. I mean, the playoffs are still very much the carrot, if you like, at the end of the season. Things will be known. The Welsh Cup date is a lot earlier this year, so there won't be that sort of hanging around waiting to see what the permutations are. So we'll know heading towards the end of the season if we can get into the playoffs. Then we've done it before, is all I'll say.
Indeed. Well, let's hope for a good second half, Ryan. And again, we'll encourage people to go and watch those new episodes of You Can Have It All. Thank you very much for joining us on Pure West Sport this Monday evening. Always great to talk to you. We are going to come back for part 2 in a few moments, and we'll find out why it was another busy Saturday in the Pembrokeshire Football Leagues and the Senior Cup as well. More on the way next.
Eaton-Evans and Morris Solicitors have traditional values.